Hi and welcome to another Tutorial Tuesday. Today I'm making a fun card using this stamp and coordinating die by Lawn Fawn, and I'm also going to show you how to create a very original dry embossed background. The main image will be colored with twinkling H2Os, and I've already gone ahead and prepared mine. What I do is I spray some water in the pots and let them sit for about 10 minutes. I have a piece of 2.5 by 2.5 watercolor paper, and I'll be stamping the owl with jet black archival ink because we're playing with a medium and water. That ink is waterproof, so perfect for that. Now it doesn't matter where I stamp because we're going to die cut that owl. Okay, so I've zoomed in so that you can see it properly. I have a filbert brush here, which is a round tip brush that I like to use when I do watercoloring, and I'm going to dip into the nutmeg color and removing just a little bit. I don't want a lot on the tip of my brush, and I'm going to start coloring the head. So what I do is I put a little bit of color on the side, and I have some clean water here in a bucket, and I'm going to rinse my brush, remove most of the water, and start redistributing my color. So this is the owl. I'm going to let that dry thoroughly, and then we're going to add some stickles to the scarf. But before I do that, I have another piece of watercolor paper that measures 1.5 by 2. And I'm going to color that, but this time I'm going to just be very watercolory with nutmeg. I'm adding water and different intensities of the color, and I'm trying to recreate a piece of wood. There we go. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to let this one dry. I think the owl is pretty much dry too. So I'm going to take a Christmas red stickles, and I'm going to add that to his scarf. And the reason why I do this before I die cut the owl is that sometimes when you add stickles, the paper has a tendency to buckle, and if it's already cut, the edges or the ends might curl down, and then you have to correct them, and I'd rather wait until I'd rather do that before I actually cut. It's just easier for me as well to apply the stickle. It's a bigger piece. I can hold it with my fingers, and there we go. So I'm going to let that dry thoroughly, and we're going to work on the background. Next I'm going to emboss the background on watercolor paper. So this piece measures 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm using the Birch Tree embossing folders from the Birch Trees and Candy Stripes set by Tim Holtz. And what I'm going to do is on the underside or the reverse side of the top of the folder, which is this part here, I'm going to hit the raised areas with Tumble Glass and Stormy Sky Distress ink. And what that will do is it will create a nice gradient for the sky. And I'm not aiming for perfection either. My pad's coming undone. I'm going to have to replace that. Okay. So now I'm placing the paper inside the folder and close this. And now I'm going to run this through my Big Shot. And this is what it looks like. Look how cool this background is. Some of the ink, when I applied the inks to the embossing folder, I pressed too hard and it went inside the grooves where the trees are, but that doesn't bother me. I just absolutely love the effect. And I'm going to go back in with the Hunter's Gray color. And this time around I have a small tip brush, like maybe a liner brush. And I'm going to add some of that Hunter's Gray inside the birch trees. So the red stickle on the scarves is dry. I think he's cute. And I'm going to die cut him. And now that I have my brand new magnetic platform for my Sizzix, I don't have to use washi tape anymore, which is cool. So I'm going to put my magnetic platform, and I have a cutting plate, and I'm just going to place the die right over it. Make sure that it's centered, and that's not going to move. I'm going to put my other plate right over that and go ahead and die cut this. Ta-da! Oh, he's so cute. Look at him. He's adorable. Love it. Very festive with the red stickle. So my fake wood panel is dry. I'm now going to stamp the sentiment, and it also comes with 3 little hearts here at the bottom, so I've actually added them directly onto my acrylic block. I'm going to use archival or jet black archival ink for this as well. And I'm going to stamp right over my panel. I'm stamping towards the bottom because I'm going to curl the top of the panel a little bit. Now I'm going to make sure that I dry this thoroughly before I go ahead and handle it. Next I'm going to take the Wink of Stella glitter red brush, and I'm going to color those 3 little hearts. It's such a quick an easy way to add the perfect amount of glitter to your project. Look how cute these are. So now I want to distress the edges of this panel, and for this I'm going to use the distressing tool, and I want this fairly scuffed up. I even want some tears, so maybe I'll help it a little bit with my fingers. And maybe I'll curl a little bit here and there. I might have to add more of that nutmeg color, just so we don't see the white of the paper. So I'm going to take my brush again. And it's okay if I get more on a panel. It's just going to add to the natural look. I have about 10 inches of red and white baker's twine. I'm going to use this to hang the sign from these two tree branches. So I'm going to poke 2 holes, one on each side here. And as you can see, I'm not measuring. As you can see, I'm repurposing something that I had smeared earlier. So my back is not white. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Okay, and I'm going to tie a knot at both ends. Cut the excess. I'm going to pull on the back. Like this. I have a little black foam mat here that I'm going to put to the back of my background paper, because what I want to do is I want to tie those 2 things around these 2 branches. So I will put one little hole here and one here as well. I'm going to cut the rope in the middle like this. And I'm simply going to sand those the 2 ends towards the back. There you go. So now I can adjust the height, because our little owl is going to come and sit right over that piece of fake wood. So before I secure those 2 ends to the back, I'm going to put some foam adhesive in the back of the panel, just so that it stays in place, and that way I won't risk the chance of pulling it unevenly. Oops. And Okay. Now I can secure, so I just have 2 pieces of Scotch tape here. Just going to tack those down like this. So cute. Looks like a swing for my owl. So I'm going to glue this onto the card backing or the card base. So I just have a regular textured cardstock card base. It's a white textured cardstock, and it measures standard A2 size card, which is 4 1/4 by 11, folded at the 5.5 inch mark. And last but not least, our little owl. You know what? I'll pop him twice because it looks as if he's behind that panel, and in fact he's sitting on top and a little bit over. So I'm going to put 2 layers of foam adhesive. I love the background technique. That was so much fun to make, and I love the texture. It's tough to see on camera, obviously, what the texture looks like, but it's the perfect grunge background to the wood panel, little owl, so cute. I also like the way the scarf turned out with the red stickles. It adds kind of like, almost like little fiber-like pattern to it. And it looks like a real knitted scarf. Really like that. So that was it for today. I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. As usual, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and I will talk to you on Friday.